Ifeoma Benis Ofo, CEO Prestigious Dishes. I'm new here. Share, you got it. I want I want to give a perfect teaching with details on how to pad hip padded with just 2 inches. 2 inches, and it will be natural. So I've already cut this, but I'm going to show you details on how I achieved this and the final result. Please, if this is your first time here, please subscribe and turn the notification bell so that each time I post, you love my teaching. What we need to know is the measurement, how we are going to get the hip padded right. If you look at this thing, I'm measuring minus 2 inches and I'm marking 15 or 14 inches is basic measurement for hip padding, but you need to measure your client. How do you measure your client? Measure the person from the half length to her under boot. You add 2 inches to it, making it about 15 or 14 inches. Then when cutting the foam, whatever is the person's hip, you minus 2 inches to get the back of the hip. This one I'm cutting now. So what you do is, if the person's hip is 40, divide by 2 is 10. So the foam you are going to cut is going to be 8 inches by width. 8 inches by width. Then minus 2.5 inch. You mark 14 or 15 depending. I don't like going more than 15 on my hip pad to avoid unnecessary long effort. So the second one I'm cutting now is the front part of the hip. I use 5 inches for medium person and 4 inches for a very tiny person. So 5 inches for the front. Then to get the shapy part of the hip, you mark 1 inch the way I'm doing it now. Mark 1 inch up, mark 1 inch down, then you trim it the way I'm doing it now. Trim it this way. Yeah. Then you mark 1 inch again from the upper part of the front hip. Mark 1 inch the way I'm doing it. You trim slightly. Then you now trim the down part of it the way I'm doing it to get a perfect look, a natural look hip pad. You see the way I cut it now. Then let me go to the back one. This is the back one. Going to do the same thing, 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Then I'll trim it to get the curvy effect. I'll trim it the same way I did to the front. Then after doing it, you mark under boot of the person. So this minus 2.5, the person under boot is 12 inches. So you mark that 12 inches the way I did now. Then from the bottom of that hip pad, you mark about 2.5. 2.5 the way I'm doing it now. Then you curve from the up the way I'm doing it now. Curve from the up to the 12 inches. You see the way I'm doing it? This is what you got. This is what you got. So the second part here is cutting of the lining. I'm cutting the lining. The lining is folded into 4. Each part of the hip will have 2 lining. Each part of the hip will have 2 lining. That is what I'm cutting now. Cutting the lining because I like it to look so neat inside. So I've cut the back lining. So I've folded my lining into 4 the way I'm doing it now. Then fix the front hip padding. That is what I'm doing now. You have to cut it. If you are cutting it, you leave half inch round the foam. Leave half inch. Meanwhile, the foam I'm using is 1 inch foam. This is 1 inch foam. You can decide to use half inch. Then this is the way I trim it. Trim the two sides. Now I've joined the lining. I've joined the whole lining. I'm fixing the foam inside the lining because I want it very neat outside. Why I do this is I don't like fixing my hip pad inside the lining of the dress I'm making so that it will be removable. Anytime you don't want the hip again, you can easily remove it from the cloth and still wear your clothes. So this is how I fix my foam, already trimmed foam inside the lining for a better neat look. Do you understand? Remember, the hip is 2 inches added to the main hip. If the hip is 40, you add 2 inches to it, making it 42. When shaping the main dress, you are shaping 42. For example, the person hip is 40, you shape the cloth with 42 because this will give you extra 2 inches to the hip. Then this part I'm touching now is the part that is trimmed. Do not sew to the front. Look at the way I'm going to do it. The place that is flat is the one that will be out. This place is flat. This is flat part, and I sew it outside there. Here is the flat part. This one is the trim part. Here is this is the final part to fix the hip to the clothes. What I have here, I measured here is 2.5. Remember, I minus 2.5 before cutting the foam. When getting my 14 inches, I minus 2.5. This is where you fix that to. You mark that 2.5 from the half length of the person, 2.5 down. Don't fix immediately at the half inch. Come down by 2.5. That is where you fix the foam for a better result. You see my 2.5? That is where I'll fix the foam. Then this is the way I fix the foam. You see how neat it's going to be? You place it on that 2.5. Place on that 2.5 at the one side of the hemming and the allowance. At the one part of the allowance, sew it down. At the one side of this is after sewing it. Look at the outcome. After sewing it, this is the result. Best result ever. At this one that is going up, just use your hand needle to tack it. Make sure you tack where it's supposed to be. Just tack that place that I'm pointing now. Thank you for watching. I hope please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that each time I post, you'll be able to watch every details. Thank you.